Okay, hi, let's take a look at this set of essays you've sent us. The first one is the pie chart. Here's what you wrote. The pie chart illustrates the percentages of 7 different subjects in which students enrolled in a school in Germany in 2017. The subjects are, and you name them all, fine. Overall, it can be seen that physical education and physical education and history were the two most popular subjects in the school, followed by physics and maths, whereas biology, geography, and IT were preferred least. All right, it's a little too much information for an overview. I mean, you basically just summarized it. It's a little too much here. Honestly, you could have just said that physical education was the most popular and IT was the least. And that probably would have been a more appropriate overview. Looking at the graph in detail, it's actually a chart, it's a pie chart, it's not a graph. Looking at the chart in detail, it can be seen that the proportion of students who were not admitted, because it's not whether they received admission or not, but it's which subjects they preferred. So let's try it again. Looking at the graph in detail, it can be seen, looking at the chart in detail, it can be seen that the proportion of students who preferred physical education was the highest, 22.9, while the figure for those who had chosen IT as a subject consisted is the wrong word. Let's see, as a subject, the figure, you could have just said was, so look at it like this. The figure for those who had chosen IT as a subject was only 3.7. On the other hand, the number of students who decided to study physics and maths were relatively singular at this and this respectively. Fine. It is also worth noticing that history was the second major subject after PE and comprised of 22.4% of total enrollment. It's not total enrollment. Again, careful, it's preference. So, I mean, maybe all of these students enrolled in all 7 of these courses, but they're simply categorizing which ones they preferred in order. So, of total preference, however, the respective proportion of students who preferred geography and biology accounted for 6.4% and 7.1%. All right. You covered everything, and it looks like, even though I haven't done a word count, it looks like you probably met the word count here, so that's good. If there was something that I would have liked to see, it's this, like you started here to say that physical education was the most, IT was the least, and that's good. Look, it's a good answer, but you could have done, if you wanted to do, what you could have done is you could have compared maybe some of these figures. So for example, I think it's interesting, if you look at this, to notice not just to mention them by numbers, like, okay, so this is 22, where is it, 22.9, and this is 3.7, but to actually say that this is 7 times higher than the least popular subject, okay? So those are the kinds of connections that I would really like to see here. It makes it a little more meaningful, and it gives a little extra analysis to what you're actually looking at, okay? On the whole, though, it's fine. There were just some little things happening. All right, so let's go ahead and look at your task 2 about online translation apps. Okay, oh, I see. This is your introduction. I see. Online applications for language translation are getting very popular these days among people. In my opinion, I believe that online translating apps bring more benefits than the disadvantages they bring. All right, did you have to use bring in the same sentence? So, in my opinion, I believe online translating apps bring more benefits than disadvantages. Full stop. Okay. All right, I don't understand this first sentence. Why is it here? Is this a new paragraph? It's all a little confusing. I don't understand this paragraph. I don't understand this sentence. It's not an appropriate first sentence to your paragraph, so I'm really unsure about it. Despite the disadvantages below, I believe that availability of language translation software has improved communications across the world. This is not how you want to start off this paragraph. If you're going to talk about the positives, then it's important to just start off talking about the positives. So, you could say, for example, the availability of language translation software has improved communication across the world. In other words, people from different cultures can understand each other in a most effective way. So you have to get rid of, wait, you have to get rid of this part of the sentence. Really doesn't help you, okay? All right, so now you say they can understand each other in a more effective way, but you never go into how or why they can do this. How do these online translation apps help? This is where you're supposed to supply this information directly after where you mention it, okay? Not somewhere else later on in the paragraph. So this is where you should have discussed it and described it a little in detail. Secondly, these online apps do not only translate our language, but also do it in a matter of seconds, which also saves money in the long run. For example, the famous Pakistani folk singer Sain, who was illiterate, was once offered a chance to sing in a Hollywood movie because, full stop. And because of these apps, he could understand the meaning of lyrics and therefore performed very well and earned a fortune. Okay, fine. Okay. Anyway, so with the help of translation apps, one can introduce his business worldwide, comma, making it easier to propagate in life. That's the wrong word, okay? Propagate. I think you mean prosper. You can't start a sentence with and. This eventually strengthens their country's economy as well. How? Why does it do this? Okay? So here's my suggestion to you. Rather than having 3 main ideas, okay, and you just really sort of briefly, if at all, develop them, I really want to encourage you to focus on 2 main ideas, but make sure that you really develop them fully, okay? So I would have left one of these 3 ideas out and really just focused on extending your description and your development. Admittedly, there are some drawbacks to these translating applications. Capital O here. One main problem is that these apps discourage learning new languages. This is largely because, as a human, this is largely because as humans, and no comma here, we tend to over-rely with a dash or one word on these apps and thus lose interest in what's going on here? Lowercase I, in learning new information that would be helpful in our future life. Take, for example, learning English could bring more job opportunities globally, and if it is avoided, then people possibly, you can't use contractions in your essays. You have to write the full word fully out, all right? If it is avoided, then people can't possibly ace their career. I don't really like this word ace. It feels far too informal. So I would prefer something a little more academic, sounding a little more formal. So if it is avoided, then people cannot possibly excel in their career. Much better way of saying this. All right, so explain to me why. Go into more detail here. Don't just drop the topic and move on to something else. Another main issue is these apps are useful only for the internet users, all right, lowercase a, and those who are working in person, get rid of could, hardly get any benefit from it. Why? How? What do you mean? Like, how do they not get any benefit? And how do the internet users get benefit? Therefore, it would bring inequality in terms of availing opportunities, as the former has an advantage over the latter is what you mean, but latter is spelled with 2 T's. You wrote later. And when you make a mistake like this, it prevents meaning from coming through. It's an error, and it prevents coherence. In conclusion, although there are a few, you have to put an A here because you mean that there are some disadvantages. So there are a few disadvantages of the online language translation apps. I personally believe that its positive aspects, such as enhancement of communication and economy across countries, could outweigh the disadvantages. All right, so a lot of things are right with this essay. Your paragraphing is good. You're utilizing the template for the most part, but there are some problems that are weak. For one thing, your grammar. There's grammatical errors in a lot of different places. All right, I had to correct really consistently throughout your essay some of your grammar. And then the other thing that I want you to work on is task achievement. You really just presented too many arguments and not enough development. You needed to give more development to some of your arguments, okay? So reduce the number of ideas that you talk about and simply focus on developing the ones that you select, the ones that you can develop the best, and develop them more, all right? So let's see you correct these. Send us back another set of essays, and we'll meet back here with your new set. Good luck.